So Katie Price has been a famous glamour model in the UK for a very long time. She has an 8-year-old daughter who admits that OnlyFans are what she wants to do in the future. She wants to do OnlyFans like her mom.
Yeah, this says she was doing an Instagram Q&A on her story recently, and her 8-year-old daughter, who is named Bunny, was asked. She asked her daughter, "What are you famous for?" Bunny said, "You." So I guess she's self-aware enough to know that. And then Katie Price asked her, "What do you want to do when you're older?" And she replied, "I want to be like you and do OnlyFans, a photo shoot," leaving her mom stunned.
Do you think it was
speechless?
Do you think it was stunned and speechless in a good way, or stunned and speechless in a holy crap, what have I done?
I mean, I would hope in a bad way, in a horrified way. I have
She's
no
like, you don't want to
idea.
be an astronaut or a doctor or a surgeon.
And she's actually been supposedly mom shamed in the past because she's put Bunny in like adult makeup and false eyelashes and stuff like that. Put her on Instagram looking like that. The girl also tried to set up a YouTube channel and has that now, which is against TOS. She was banned on TikTok because you're not supposed to have a TikTok if you're under 13.
Yep.
And she has another daughter named Princess, who is older. She's like 15 and has been called her mini-me, and they look alike, and she's kind of adopted that same look, that like Instagram face look.
Yeah.
That everyone has to look the same and you're like part of the Borg.
Yep.
But it's like, I don't know if a mom who does OnlyFans wants her daughter to be a mini-me.
Yeah. My only hope is that they're kids, so they don't know what content's on OnlyFans. So maybe they just think, oh, it's just like Instagram. I want to be famous for the sake of being famous and make a lot of money. But they just don't even know what it is. So like, oh yeah, I want to be a TikTok star. Like that's the same thing in their head.
Then it becomes a question: is like, how much has she actually shielded her kids from what she's doing?
Yeah.
And that girl should not even know what the word OnlyFans is.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I also think we were talking about this in reference to Ice Cube's wife. What was her name?
Coco
Chanel?
No. I forget her
She
last
like
name.
named her daughter Chanel, so
Yeah.
it's like Coco and Chanel.
Yeah.
She has
Austin,
an OnlyFans
Coco
too.
Austin.
Yeah, Coco Austin. She has an OnlyFans too, which she promotes on Instagram, same way Katie Price does. And they post family pictures on the same account that she's posting all the lingerie photos and the foot fetish stuff and all that. So I just don't think that you should be using the same account on Instagram that you use to market your OnlyFans content, your sexual content, for family photos and photos of your kid, because the audience is a bunch of fetishists.
Yeah.
And freaks and dangerous people.
I mean, it's also a sign of the times, because in the past you just wouldn't come into contact with a bunch of people you didn't know on a personal level.
Yeah.
Like the people you knew would be the people you knew, meaning the people you grew up with, the people you had made friends with along the way, everyone in your hometown. And now you're connected to all these people that have nothing to do with that. And most of these people are pushing businesses. You know, that's whether she likes it or not, it's her business, but she's mixing her business and her private life. And the outcome is going to be kids like this who are unfortunately taking some crazy lessons.
Yeah.
I don't know about like lessons as so much as like you're just growing up in a culture where this is normalized, and it's like the air that you breathe. It's something that you don't even think critically about.
Yeah.
And I think, like, regardless of whether you shield your kid from the fact that you make this type of content as they're growing up, they're going to find out eventually, and the consequences.
That's still better than this. Like, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying it's still better than
somewhat.
Like,
what about when her schoolmates find out? I talked about this on whatever, and it went viral for a reason, because it's like. The OnlyFans mindset is all about thinking about temporary reward for stuff that is going to haunt you for decades.
And the problem of a culture that lives too much in the moment and doesn't think far enough ahead to what their life is actually going to be like 10 years down the line.
Imagine like facing professional or social consequences for like your grandmother having OnlyFans content.
Well, but you see this like with videos of people making viral videos in these grocery stores where they're making the type of content that they're not actually thinking about what's going to mean for them down the line if something happens to them when they're doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's all just about the views. No matter what, if I'm Insta famous, I'm relevant online. Doesn't matter if it's all hate. I'm still famous online, and that's actually they can start like a OnlyFans or a rap career or whatever it may be.
For men and women, it's different, but it's still it's a symptom of people not thinking far enough ahead about what their life is going to look like 10 years, 20 years down the line. Well, they're addicted to the views now.
Well, I kind of argue that like having an OnlyFans and having a cruelty-based prank channel is the same thing as with the guy or the girl. It's going to haunt them later on. Yeah. And if they decide, I don't want to be a prankster anymore, or I don't want to be an OnlyFans model anymore, that's it. It's already out there. It's always going to find you. And now you see that, I think it's called PIM or something. Yeah. Very scary. If you just put in any picture of you, it'll go out there and find stuff. Like I tried to get a picture of me from my live stream. And I was like, okay, it found a lot of pictures from me on YouTube, but it also found me in wedding albums from friends that are uploaded to different websites that I've never seen before. And I'm like, this is an issue.
That's crazy.
It's a website?
It's a website, and it's all behind like a paywall. It gives you, like, a little
you have to pay to...
But the thing is, though, is it shows you all the places it found you, and I'm like, here's a picture of me.
Background check?
Yeah, without facial hair, several years ago, in a very different setting in a background, but it just with my eyebrows and my eyes. It was like, oh yeah, you've been to all these different places, and I'm like, so even if you had some weird name as your YouTube channel prank thing or your OnlyFans thing, when you go on LinkedIn, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find it.
And did you see that video where those girls were photobombing the Instagram influencer or like the TikToker girl at the baseball game, where like they're in the background like giving her the middle finger and stuff?
No, I haven't seen that.
That like went viral recently when we talked about it. They found the girl who was in the background of the video just from her face. There was no identifying information. Then they found all of her social media, her professional profiles, called her job, found her address, like everything.
One of them
in less than 24 hours.
One of them ended up apologizing because they just wanted to.
Yeah, and they ended up making an apology video, which is bullshit. But I guess it's something you have to do to surrender to the mob.
Yep, you're not allowed to just go out and be a person anymore. You have to apologize every time something like this happens.
It's funny you say like a cruelty-based online presence. Sometimes people use. We were talking about this TikToker who, basically stole a meal from a homeless person right in front of him. Yeah. And just does videos like that constantly and doesn't even have that many followers off of doing it. It's just hate. Yeah. It's either that these days or a public presence that's totally based on humiliating yourself. Like either you're humiliating other people or you're humiliating yourself somehow. And that's the draw. Like I saw this girl with an OnlyFans who went to a McDonald's and got up on the counter with like very little clothing on for a video to go viral just so people would sub to her OnlyFans. Like, it's insane what people will sacrifice.
Well, people are willing to humiliate themselves for fame now.
Because it's so profitable.
Yeah.
Like, who would
also, how is that not like sexual harassment against everybody there?
The people watching, the guy's like, dude, I'm just trying to eat my McChicken.
Like, if a man were doing that, he would be arrested.
Yes. to be fair, literally. The guy would be arrested. It's terrifying to me because it becomes a problem to me because society seems to encourage this. I definitely see a slant in how these stories are covered, meaning that when I read articles about these things, it's always about how much money can be made on these platforms, not realizing that the majority of them do not make that much money. The average OnlyFans girl is a much closer comparison to a SoundCloud rapper than she is to someone that's making a ton of money, right? So they're being bombarded with all of this propaganda saying like, look how much money you can make. It doesn't matter if you have morals or standards for yourself. Look how well off you can be if you do this.
Brett, I just sent you a link to the post I was talking about where she put all that makeup on the 8-year-old.
The
really
Instagram
disturbing, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me put it up here.
And this got like a ton of people praising her for it in the comments. Like, that's so disturbing.
Ugh. That's how long ago is that? 11 weeks ago.
Not long ago. And someone commented, before everyone cries about it being makeup for a few hours, every little girl I know loves playing with makeup and having fun. this is different than letting a girl play with makeup.
Well, yeah,
because
you're posting the picture for everyone to see.
Yeah.
You're doing it professionally on her the way that an adult would. It's like not exactly the same thing, is it?
I'm actually with Toy News Daily in the chat who says, I hate seeing thoughts on IG wearing bikinis and Darth Vader Mando helmets, thirsting my fellow nerds. Yeah, it's definitely like
that's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah, and it's definitely like, hello there, fellow nerds. I am your fantasy. I am here to take your money. Please click the link in bio.
If you fall for it,
that's capitalism, baby.
That's, I guess, open season on you.
That is capitalism, baby.
It's sad, but yeah. And Katie Price, I don't think looks like a person anymore.
No, she doesn't.
I looked at old pictures from her modeling career and stuff, and she looked very pretty and natural and normal. Like, she's a natural beauty and never needed to change anything. But she looks like her face is just overloaded with fillers.
Yeah.
The lip injections are crazy. And I said she has like the lip injection mustache.
Yeah.
Where the filler like migrates and it causes this shadow to form over the top lip like you have a mustache. Like, you don't look like a person anymore.
Do you think this is just going to keep getting worse as we keep trying to find surgical solutions to like our own emotional problems?
I honestly think that with the popularity of, to not go in on anybody, with the popularity like Dylan Mulvaney, where they're all going for this very augmented look, the more we're going to go back to just like, oh, maybe just natural looking, low makeup, but then not looking for that perfection Instagram filter look will become the more attractive thing because it's the more authentic thing. Because like anybody can get to look like Katie Price right here with enough lip injections.
If you've got the money, you can do it, right? Like,
yeah.
It's like the hope would be like we get back to a point in society where we value authenticity and the look of somebody. You know, but then girls who do that get called pick-me's or get told like that they're cliches. For things like that as well. So it's like everything's stereotyped. Even the term trad has become stereotyped in a way where trad has become a business model for people who are...
Where literal OnlyFans girls will have a trad shtick.
Yes, where it's
like, does any word mean anything?
Wearing a sundress doesn't mean that, like, you know, wearing a floral pattern dress that goes down to your knees doesn't make you trad. It just makes you a person wearing a dress. You're still running a business on your computer. That's not really the
girl
same
that like
thing.
LARPs as Marilyn Monroe on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not fond of that type of content at all.
What do you so do you think for guys the analog here is like shock content videos, because guys can't profit in the same way from something like OnlyFans? I remember somebody made this really funny observation to me once. They said for like women have stripping, men have pizza delivery. Like, men can make more money from pizza delivery like than a lot of regular jobs. Do you think that in this industry, like if women have OnlyFans, men have to kind of go and do shock content video?
It's just whatever you can't find in your day-to-day life. Oh, super hot girl that's into Star Wars, and you provide that online, then you get all the clicks and the views. Same thing with just people being just ratchetly insane in person. It's like, yeah, if you saw that at your local Starbucks, somebody dancing on a table and like, you know, throwing everything everywhere, like, wow, that was something of note. And it's like, yeah, they just provide that online, no matter the long-term effects. They just try to be relevant. And like what Joe Rogan said is like, everybody wants to be special, but they don't want to work at it. Yeah. And OnlyFans to a lesser extent, but also the prank stuff. They don't gotta do much. They don't gotta learn anything.
I tend to push back on the people, like, not in the OnlyFans space, but in the space of like women who get lots of views or likes on social media, and they're like, they didn't do anything. I'm like, that depends on like if they work out a lot and they eat right and they take care of themselves. That's not the same thing as not doing anything. That means that they're putting a lot of time into their appearance. Obviously, once we get into whether they're getting surgical operations, that's different. But if you're just a naturally, like you said, Katie Price used to be naturally beautiful, right? So if you're taking care of yourself physically,
social media that made her ruin her face because she wasn't able to psychologically handle that level of attention.
She's been around for so long. I mean, she started going through that before social media was even as big of a thing as it is now.
Definitely made it worse.
So there was probably a case of body dysmorphia there already.
There's also this horrible story of this Kim Kardashian lookalike OnlyFans model
that we mentioned the other day.
Yeah, like died in the middle of a surgery.
Yep.
That she was having, and again,
cardiac arrest.
Jeez.
Rest in peace. I don't want to like speak down on the dead. That's not Like, I don't want to do that.
I feel horrible for this
But
lady.
it's like, once again, this person is not recognizable to who they once were.
Yeah.
The sad part is she needs. I feel like if she met Kim Kardashian in person, she would realize that Kim Kardashian doesn't look like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
In person, she's a vastly different person.
Yeah.
Even Kim Kardashian looked better before all of the interventions.
And she always gets caught with like Photoshop mistakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't think that people understand the consequences when they go into these things. And from all of these pictures off of her social profiles, like, I don't think that, once again, this looks like a real person. Like, anyone who sees this and this is their like idea of an ideal woman, like, you've got like porn sick mentality.
And that's going to get worse
Basically.
in a society that's increasingly isolated, spending more time on their phones than with actual people and not interacting as much with, the opposite sex. It's going to get worse as these markets get smaller.
And granted, the fact that obviously this woman had gotten so many surgeries on her body, that's likely the type of surgery that she was in the middle of getting when she had a cardiac arrest, and that now is dead at 34. It's not worth it. It's clearly not worth it. And like, not to mention living with all these foreign substances in your body, like getting silicone implants can literally kill you. Your body will start to attack the foreign substance that you've put in it.
Yeah.
And that's why you need to like replace it in the next 10 years. I said this on a recent episode, but like, it's worth reiterating, if you think that society is going to be in bad shape in the next 5 to 10 years, is medical care going to be accessible to you? And will your implants kill you at that point?
And I think it's fair to say that for both men and women, they have their own, like, both men and women who chase internet fame. Like I said, a lot of the stuff you cover, people chasing internet fame, the men doing it just do it for through a different medium, whether it's the shock content videos or prank videos. I imagine prank videos are a mostly male demographic on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
some of them are not even pranks. Like, when we were talking about that YouTuber who got shot at the mall, doing another prank video, all of his videos were titled like, "Oh, that's a crime," like stealing someone's groceries.
That's what you've done more than a few of them, where it's like they're doing
not pranks. I've covered the videos.
You've covered more than a few of them, where it's like he's just committing crimes. It's like, psych, I was just kidding. It's like, that's not really how this works.
Yeah, it's all for the clout, though, because you can monetize views no matter how terrible it is, and then once you've done it one way, to get clicks again, you have to outdo yourself, and they've just
carjacking prank.
Yeah.
What was the most egregious of the ones you've covered?
Probably the guy that was going to the airports to say like, "Oh, we're doing a prank where we're gonna pretend that that's our luggage and steal the luggage," but then he brought a rapper with him, an aspiring gangster rapper, and then he started pulling out a blade to do it, and it's like, what, you guys premeditated saying we're gonna go to the airport where we know people aren't armed and say we're gonna steal their luggage and also use a knife.
Ooh. We just had the lights flicker. Stream okay, guys?
We might have lost it here.
Uh-oh.
Did we double check?
I'm looking at it right now.
Guys,
seems like it's okay.
The rain has been pretty brutal today, so I'm not we got
Whoa.
Oh.
stream. That wouldn't be good. Guys,
They say you're still with us.
Okay.
It's still gotten it's still green, the bar by
keep
OBS.
going. I'm gonna double check and make sure. Holy Verse in the chat says crimes aren't pranks. Yes, but these people would have you believe that they are pranks because it's a way to get views.
Stream's good, still here. Haunted Studio.
Haunted.
You know, somehow, once again, this is Shane Cashman's fault. He has what's wrong?
No, keep going.
He's issued a curse on the studio.
going.
Another person said, "Why do social media people always talk about social media being bad all the time? Does your career choice not add to the problem?" Thoughts on that, Decoy Voice?
What do you mean? Like,
Are you, or is Pop Culture Crisis contributing to the problems that we're talking about today?
no, because it just calls them out for their nonsense that they're doing. It's not saying like, "Oh, look at this thing. Look how well this is." Like, look at this thing. We're going to show the long-term effects of it. Other channels that are failing at it as well, and how this is going to result in prison time for them. Because other guy actually got murder charges later on because they were able to identify him from that video he uploaded.
Oh.
So it's like, it's not saying this is a good thing. Here, it would be different if I did a compilation of the greatest pranks I saw on YouTube. It's just
Top
showing
10 crime prank videos. And there are people that make that type
Top
of
10
content.
bank robbery pranks.
And
yeah,
that's
like literally that.
But that's what happened over in Texas, where they came in there with like an object wrapped in a plastic bag, and he goes in there saying, "Oh, this is a stick up," and then
Dude.
they're like, "Oh, it's a prank, and they left. The sad part is, I think it happened in Austin, Texas, and they never found the guys. It's on a video, it's on a YouTube account that has to be connected to them, but apparently they're just not looking for him.
And now, like, because police aren't always allowed to enforce the law, people are less afraid of the consequences of doing shit like that.
Oh, 100%. They know that there's like no police pursuit laws in some of these very hyper left cities, so it's like they know they can get away with it as long as they're in their vehicle and they're speeding. So it's almost like no risk to them, and which is sad.
Yeah. And then what you have to rely on is, I guess, the court of public opinion on social media, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, as you said.
And that's the thing, is when you have someone that's like a rapper that wants to be like a drill rapper, "Oh, I'm such a criminal, I'm a gangster," the worse thing he does, the better off he is for his rap career, because if he goes to jail for a brief period of time, he can come out and say,
helps his clout.
"Oh, look at
Like,
all these bad things I..."
so-and-so.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.